Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome back to another high-level series of StarCraft 2. Today in the bottom right, spawning as our blue Protoss player, playing for Team NV. It's gonna be Creator. In the top left, playing for Talon Esports. It's of course Dark over here. Talon's Dark. As we have a Zerg versus Protoss best of 3 from the most recent Korean StarCraft League. I want to say it's Korean StarCraft League 46. Of course, the tournament has been running for, I think, a little bit over a year right now. What's the score Ghost to Ghost as? Well, I can tell you, that's 0-0. 0-0. There you go, buddy. Beautiful stuff. Yeah, you're welcome. Absolutely welcome. As we're gonna have a quick, very quick hatchery here coming out of Dark as a start. So this was a 15 hatch before Overlord into a 15 pool post Overlord. This is what is known as the Eric opener, or just the 15-15. Zerg player Eric invented this, or at least popularized this. Big made a video about it, and then a lot of professional players started copying this. I think it's one of the best examples in recent time where a lower level player, well, Eric is still... I'm pretty sure like mid-grandmaster, but a lower level player compared to the people that copied it, introduced something, pro players looked at it, studied it, said, hey, this is better, let's incorporate it into our play. They don't play it every single game because it does have downsides, but it is being played quite a bit. And this is, I think, one of the very cool things of StarCraft 2, is that just because you're a worse player doesn't mean that your builds aren't valuable. I've had it many times in the past where we've seen relatively lower level players kind of invent a style, or at least make sure that the ball gets rolling when it comes to a certain style or a certain build. And Eric had worked it out far enough that this build has been pretty much copied one-on-one by pro Zerg players, which is really cool. I absolutely love that. It's very rare that extremely low level players influence higher level thinking, because it is extremely difficult for a lower level player to kind of see everything he needs to keep into mind, everything you need to keep into account. So I feel like in order to have some seriously valuable input when it comes to build orders, you need to be at least like Grandmaster somewhere at least. Otherwise, it's going to be really difficult for people to copy what you're doing, because it's just going to be, most of the time just inefficient or just poorly executed. And it's very difficult to see value in something that is being very poorly executed. Roadwarn coming down here for Dark. This is a pretty standard Dark thing to do. Dark is a big fan of attacking with roaches at any point that he can, but he doesn't even have a second gas yet. This feels like a defensive Roadwarn. Wait a second. Okay, I have no clue what this is. I was gonna say, did Dark maybe believe that this was like a glaive opener? I'm not sure if that's what Dark believes. But what is he doing? So he has a quick Roadwarn. Now going into a fast lair. This is an insanely quick lair. So a lot of resources here are being sunk into buildings and upgrades that will not provide anything here for Dark whatsoever. Like this hatchery into a lair, like this can only be an all-in. This Roadwarn is doing nothing. This is a reasonably timed second gas. There's a reasonably timed third gas as well. You have an Evo chamber coming down. Is he just rushing into Hydras? I think he might accidentally be rushing into Hydras. But then what is the fast Roadwarn for? Very often when we see these fast rushes into Hydras, you skip the Roadwarn and you get a bunch of links. Initial defense with links. If anything, you'll get a Baneling nest. Go for some like Baneling Hydra all in. Okay, he's gonna go for a range upgrade. An extra gas. 3 more Overlords. So he rushed a lair to then not use the lair. I have no clue what this is for. So the moment you're investing resources into a quick lair, that isn't necessarily a bad thing. Eventually you need to do it anyway. But often it means that you're cutting something else out in like out of your build. Like the earlier you rush an upgrade, the earlier you rush a tech building like a Roadrunner, the quicker you're gonna put resources into a lair or into something else. Your eco gets worse because that is money that is not being spent on boosting your economy. So I guess we're going into some type of swarm host play here. This is something we saw Dark do in, I want to say it was the GSL as well. One of the games he played against Stats. There's no Nydus yet. Still adding more stuff. More drones. It's going up to a drone count of 71-ish. It's going to have some minor saturation over here on the fort base. Creator, meanwhile, already taking a fort himself as well. It's getting stormed. An absolute storm rush over here. Charge a little over halfway done. +1 about halfway done as well. And now I think the first Nydus is going to be such a... This is a vital moment here in the life of Creator. Has he seen it? He hasn't seen it. He does have an observer in between these things, and he sees the infestation bit, is aware of the fact that this is still a lair. So this can really only be swarm host. It's the only thing that makes any sense. And we see immediately here a transition into RoboBay, second robotics facility as well. It's an interesting call. So perhaps for mass disruptors, there's no spotting going on at all on the sides. Here comes the Prism. With the 3 zealots will need to be picked up again and piss off. As the Nydus network here is going to finish. And let's just go to first person immediately of Creator. Let's see what his response is going to be. Oh, the sound doesn't actually play from the replay. That's so weird. Pretty sure Creator did hear it. Because he cancelled his fort base. Threw down a bunch of cannons, extra batteries as well. We have cannon plus battery in the main base. The position of these buildings, by the way, is pretty darn bad here for Creator, because they're all on the edge. That means that the Nydus can potentially kill these important tech buildings, especially the Templar Archives and the fort. It's going to be very frustrating to lose. This Nydus is going to get taken out by 3 oracles. A bit of a waste of energy in my mind. Creator does not want more stuff to pop out of there. So far, Dark's position looking very solid in this game. So there's no fort base here. Dark already has 8 gases, getting the +2 upgrades as well. Lacking his hive, that's the one thing I'd say, hey, I want a hive. Okay, I guess it's the one thing that Dark also says, hey, a hive will be good. So we agree on that at least. Colossus are being popped out, but the problem with Colossus is that they're not really that great against the follow-up, which is going to be Lurkers. Colossus are really weak against Lurkers. They suck against Lurkers. I'm not a fan of the Colossus against Lurkers. I don't know anyone that is a fan of the Colossus against Lurkers. If you're a fan of the Colossus playing against Lurkers, there's something wrong with you, objectively. So this means that Creator now has a very slim window in which he can start dealing damage with these Colossus, but at the same time, Dark is still in control of this game right now. Dark is the one that's saying, hey, I want to fight and I want to fight here. And it's on Creator to defend that. That Disruptor shot killed 2 Ravagers and a Roach. Storms are pretty okay. The Templar count is at 3 as the Super Battery is active. Colossus on the right side not really participating in the fight here. As the Oracles once again on the far right, just making sure that no Nyduses can drop there. But of course we have a real Nydus over here already. That is something that Creator will need to deal with. As he takes out these 4 links, has a bit of money in the bank. He's going to take a fort base now, 9 minutes into the game. Nydus network here is, Nydus worm here is going to get targeted down. As the +3 range starts as well here for Dark. I honestly feel like getting maybe a Viper or 2 would be kind of worthwhile too, but seems like the Lurker then is going to get the priority here for Dark. Of course, there are Templars, so maybe not quite as great. Swarm host flank coming in as well. How is our good friend Creator going to be dealing with it as well? He's probably just gonna roll over and kind of die here. Lost so many units, and this is the type of fight you want when you're playing Swarm host. Just taking away units from your opponent, because you're always going to be maxed, or at least you're going to be maxed majority of the time. Even resources lost here is going to be in favor of the Zerg player, which is one of these rare scenarios in which it happens when Swarm hosts are out on the map. Stalkers now moving in forward as well. These roaches can still get targeted down by the Stalkers. There's a couple of Immortals behind us as well. The army supply actually isn't that bad for Creator, but the problem is that fighting into Lurkers is going to be hell. and fighting into lurkers while there's freaking, what is this, 20 swarm hosts? 17 swarm hosts taking out your bases while you're away from them, that's also kind of hellish. As this robotics facility is going to get taken out, Creator immediately pulls the trigger, starts moving across the map. Where are the lurkers? Are they in position to deal with this? We see 2 lurkers over here. No seismic spines quite yet, but this army does not deal well with lurkers whatsoever. There's really no way to kind of fight into this. I don't think so. With this many stalkers, it's so freaking hard. Creator is gonna try. It's just a single lurker now that's in range. Second lurker in the back also helping out. There's really not that many lurkers. Of course, with only 2, 1 lurker does get taken out. It costs Creator a bit of supply. So you're gonna get a defensive swarm host wave. And I love this because this gives Dark the opportunity to perhaps morph a couple of extra lurkers. He's gonna try to fight this army completely with the roaches as well. This fight actually going relatively well here for Creator, who hardly loses any supply. And these lurkers have been morphed in fairly late. Here comes a blink in forward. Creator is looking to take the W here. I'm not so sure if he can with these new lurkers about to finish up. It's going to be a serious issue. Lurker on the back still dealing a lot of damage as well. And with this new setup, I don't think this is breakable anymore when your army consists of mainly Stalkers, 2 Immortals and 2 Colossus. As I think 1 or 2 lurkers do get taken out, but the Immortals are falling lower and lower. The Colossus is about to drop that as well. And the next Swarm Host wave is now available. Dark, still with some serious mining as well, gets the first win here on Hardlet. And honestly, it was a fairly one-sided game. And it felt, after the first 7-8 minutes, that it looked fine for Creator, but having no map control at all against heavy roach counts can be difficult, especially if the follow-up is going to be Swarm Host. This is also one of the reasons why I think a lot of people just like playing these Blink Stalker openers, which is of course something that Creator didn't go for. If you have a Blink Stalker opener, getting across the map with roaches is going to cost you already. Something that Stalkers can do is they can shoot at a roach and then blink back, or shoot at a roach and move back. And then once they get in the danger zone, they start blinking back. You also have the help of the Oracles there to deal with any Ravagers, or just deal with roaches that are chasing you. So that's something you can't really do with Zealots, because you can't outrange the roach with the Zealot. Like, you can hit roaches with Zealots, but then your Zealots also end up dying. So it really doesn't do a whole lot for you. Creator here, I hope he finds his links, but he's not going to. Some nice link routing here out of Dark. He's gonna hide them on the top side. I love this type of play. I think it is smart, it's cool, and I also believe it's actually going to work out. We're gonna have to wait and see what this Adept actually is gonna do. So you want to shade it and then move it to a direction. He's gonna pick on the middle for now. I wonder if he cancels. I don't think he is going to. Absolutely not. So he shades across the map. Let's take a look at what he's going to be capable of doing here right now. As this Adept is going to get 2 kills on these links. At the same time, these links in the natural are dealing a bit of damage, forcing away some mining time out of these 5-6 probes that are there. More mining time being lost as the first worker almost dies as well. Not quite though. Worker's going to make his way in towards the main base. Double Adept shade going towards the main of the Zerg here. Not quite gonna get the kill. Maybe will. No, not quite. At the same time, Adepts in the main of Dark. Not dealing enough damage really. 2 worker kills. How many links did we end up taking out? 5 links, 2 worker kills and a pull away. I'd say this is an okay trade overall. One problem for Creator is the fact that he's gonna need a 4th Adept before building a 3rd base. As well as probably needing to keep his 2nd Oracle at home if he wants to achieve anything in life here. Dark with an ill-advised attack. This is stupid. This makes no sense. I do not appreciate this at all. Creator takes it very seriously and decides to wall this up. There's no 2nd Queen here yet. The blunder. Dark messing up his build order. There's really no excuse for that. 2nd Queen should be there 100% of the time. This makes no sense. 4 worker kills here on this first Oracle is actually kind of a big deal. Big mistake here out of Dark, which is absolutely unprovoked. Just started his Queen too late or messed up his build in some way, shape, or form. Because that 2nd Queen should be out 100% of the time. Like, this was a late Oracle because it was not a... This was just a quick scout out of Creator, which means he has less money, so it's a late Oracle. However, if you have like a gas first and you throw your Stargate down, let's say at 2 minutes and 8 seconds, which is possible with certain build orders, that second queen still should be out. I bet this Stargate went down at least 10 seconds later. That Stargate earliest went down at 2 minutes and 18 seconds, maybe 2 minutes and 20 seconds even. So 10, 11, 12 seconds later than the fastest one, and your second queen isn't ready. That just means that your queen is at least 13, 14 seconds late for no reason. This was some poor control here out of Creator as well, trying to go for a stasis ward while nothing else is going on. I always feel like against players of Dark's caliber, this is kind of silly, because Dark is really good at looking at the minimap. I think one of the weak spots that Dark has is queen movement in general. He very often takes this type of damage. Like a single Oracle 5 minutes and 20 seconds into the game should not be getting 3 worker kills. That is absolutely not a... That should not be viable here whatsoever. Once again, we see just kind of these queens just roaming around, very keen on spreading creep. They need to be so freaking careful with this type of stuff. If we're going to have a move in forward here, a couple of these tumors are being taken out right now. Double Adept showing up as well, but there are links behind this. So these Adepts should practically be incapable of doing anything. Maybe the Oracles can move in towards the third. They could definitely get something done there. There's no Spore. There's no queens in position. Look at this. Dark absolutely in the wrong spot here. Creator has about a 5-6 second window where he could fly in. Luckily for Dark, that's not going to be the case. Once again, Dark just playing with fire here, absolutely. Has no queens in the main base either. I mean, this should be -4 workers here. Poor control once again out of Creators. Only going to get 3. Take a lot of damage on one of these Oracles. But Dark with some... not great defense. 12 worker kills here in this game. And that is after losing an Oracle as well on the side of Creator. Creator also rebuilding an extra one. So, he's shooting himself in the foot a little bit with it. Let's take a look at what's going to happen here right now. What's our gateway count? We're at 5? That's such an odd number. Literally an odd number. Usually you see 4 or you see a later 6, but 5. I mean, I don't mind it. I like this type of stuff. I love when we see gate numbers that aren't normal, because it probably means that this person thought about the build and how to optimize it. Very often people they default back to like the 4 gateway, the 6 gateway, the 8 gateway. In the case of Terran, it's like the 3 racks, the 5 racks, and then the 8 racks. You almost never see someone just going to 4 racks. So when you see someone do that, you know that they optimize the build for it. Because they're not being lazy, they're not defaulting to a number that they have in their head. They probably actually did the research. Or they misclicked. They're like, oh, miscounted. I didn't finish my elementary school. That looked like 6 to me. And in reality, it's only 5. It's also a possibility, of course. Shouldn't forget that it's always a possibility. Observers out on the map here. We have 8 drones that are being produced. 8 gases on the way for Dark, as he's probably gonna tech into... I'm assuming this is gonna be lurkers, as we have a Hydra then. Yeah, okay, he's gonna get a lurker then right now. The hive hasn't even started yet. So, make it that what you will, really. Make it that what you will. Double Disruptors, Templar Archives. This is a typical Creator type of style game. Not at all familiar with this. And thus, it is something that Creator probably does. Like, this is the... Creator never really plays meta compositions or meta build orders. He just kind of hangs around by himself and does what he likes. Likes what he does. And then wins games. Observer here scouting. Creator, of course, in a great spot after this early game. Hydras have been built. That's what? 1 to 11? 11 Hydra list. 17 workers killed. That's quite a bit. And now we're going to see what... that's a misclick. Now we're going to see what the plan is for Dark. He's a second lurker then? Really wants to rush these upgrades, I guess. On top of that, he's also just building pure Ling. There's no Baneling nest here, right? So he's just gonna go for a Ling Hydra Lurker type of composition. 10 gases are out. Creator's moving out. The thing is as long as these Lurkers don't have Adaptive Talents or Seismic Spines, Disruptors are actually very powerful. You never see this composition. And this composition would be absolutely god-awful if there was a Baneling nest. If there was an ability to go into Banelings here, I'd say that Dark should take it. But that's not a possibility here at all. Look at this. Oof. It's gonna hit. It's not quite gonna kill that Lurker. Blink forward, however, will. We have another Disruptor shot here. Don't forget that Well, actually, the Colossus right now aren't even outranging these lurkers because there's no thermal lens yet. There's also no seismic spine. So that means we have a couple more minutes. Ooh, nice on burrow. Very nice on burrow indeed. Let's see what we have over here. Massive flank being set up. Is the plan here just to rush in with a bunch of lurkers? No, it's gonna stay defensive. This creator still moving in. Seismic spines about 80% done. Here comes an attack. Force field, not really necessary because the lurkers aren't here. Now I'd like a line of force field here on the bottom side. It's not quite happening. This control was phenomenal here out of creator. Absolutely brilliant movement out of him. Has lost his disruptors. Has taken out all of the units tanking for these lurkers. Lurkers are gonna stay. Not wanting to move. The moment you move these lurkers out right now, you're probably gonna get blinkered upon. 2 Colossus do end up falling. Can he attack into this? I almost feel like the answer might be yes, there's no anti-air. Oracle's here dishing out some serious damage. It's at the same time Disruptor zoning that bottom side as well. Oracle still being very active. Lynx coming in for an attack on this Colossus. Colossus moves to safety, to relative safety. Is going to continue dealing damage. Now will fall, but it's 154 supply to 140. Still 4 bases as well for Creator. Hasn't lost anything here. Do we have an Observer with this army? We don't. It's just all vision from these oracles. But, oh, here comes an observer now. Here comes an observer. 2 lurkers on the low ground are just going to get ignored. I think we still have this Templar, or this, what do you call it, the Prism here. Warping in a couple of Templar, morphing into an Archon. Immortals being produced 2 at a time. As the blink to the left side here is going to be good. Immortal shows up. Spore moves in forward as well to try and snipe potentially that observer, but it's not going to work as Dark is being pushed out of this game here by really an oddball composition. Out of Creator. Just Mass Stalker, Immortal, Archon, Zealot. No splash whatsoever here anymore. But the supply is simply too high as 18 workers go down. GG gets called. Creator ties up the series here on side Delta. Game number 3 here on Oceanborn. The greatest map in the map pool. Maybe? I don't know actually, that's true. But it's a fun map nonetheless. You got a lot of good games on here. This time we saw Dark open up with that 15-15 that I mentioned in the first game. And that means that there's... Basically, you don't have to deal with the garbage of the double adept stuff. The double adept stuff is not going to be much of an issue for you. That's a truth. That's a straight up truth there. You don't have to deal with any of that stuff. On top of that, you also have a much easier time dealing with the initial oracles. At least that's what I feel like. It feels more natural to play this way. The queen movement feels a little bit more natural. And it's pretty much what you see is what you get as well. Like, you know what you're signing up for. He's getting a lot of gas early on. Holy crap. That's a lot of gas early on here. Now he's pulling out. So I think he's trying to fake his opponent a little bit. Because one of the downsides of this particular build is that your gas tends to be a bit late. Taking gas costs you a bit of money. You want to kind of delay that for a little bit. And Dark is definitely doing that. So double adept move outs here. Even triple adept move outs are definitely a possibility. Because this gas is just... It just ain't coming in. It just ain't. It's going to finish this Shade. It's going to flank this Ling. I wonder what Creator's plan is here. Is he just going to move across the map with everything anyway? I feel like the best thing to do against just a single Ling in your main base is to actually just pool workers and deal with it like that. Yeah, that's beautiful. You want to keep these adepts, or you want to send them across the map. I hope this adept is going to find this Ling. Nope, it's not going to find this Ling. So we're going to have some Ling on probe action here. At the same time, we have 2 adepts that are going to go towards the other side. Speed hasn't even started yet. That means that these adepts, if they are aware of what's going on, will have at least a minute of playtime here. 1 worker is going to get taken out. That's -1 probe. This should not be a finish, but it is a finish. It's going to get 3 worker kills, maybe 4. Actually, maybe it should have been a finish. 4 worker kills and a drone pool, but no speed has started yet. So that really makes me wonder whether this is the correct call. Ooh, this is supply block here out of Dark. Look at that. No, Dark. Look at that. It's going to start 1 overlord. It's going to have to build like 3 overlords here. Oi, 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 oi. That's 2. And he's going to realize again in a second. It's like, I might as well get the 3rd one, whatever. guess his hatchery is finishing up too, so it's not the end of the world. Overlords are about to pop. This was a full supply block here of almost 15-16 seconds in the first 4 minutes of the game. It's never a very good look. Same time, these oracles have not been quite dealing a crazy amount of damage. Total workers killed is 5, 4 from the adepts, a single one from this oracle. Speed still hasn't started, as it seems to me like this is just going to be a speed skip here. So I guess we're going into roaches eventually, like some type of lair attack into roach farm. No, still seeing the metabolic boost start now. Cancel. Okay. I mean, it's allowed. It's not against the law. It's just a wild move to make. Evo chamber. We're going to see an upgrade, an attack damage upgrade, before we'll see the speed upgrade. That's extremely rare. I'd be shocked if this is a melee upgrade. Where are you, Mr. Evo? Okay, in the main base. Once again, dark supply block. This time at 66. It's actually really painful. That's actually really painful. This is the second supply block from 44 to 66. That's pretty big. Look at the amount of money in the bank right now. Look at the amount of units that could have been built with the 7 larvae that are there. Okay, now we're seeing the 7 drones start. So that's some serious serious mining that is being missed there due to these mistakes. It's expensive. It really is expensive. Queen's going to be pushing back this oracle. Is this a 2 oracle build? No, it's 3 oracles. I was going to say, this feels really late when it comes to the blink, when it comes to the +1 attack as well. It's actually going to be a melee upgrade into metabolic boost. He skipped speed for a long time. This queen's taking a bit of hull damage as well. So another oracle is just trying to pick off drone reinforcements, or I guess they're drone. Oh my god, he has some serious oversaturation. Undersaturated in the main. 29 out of 16. Dark mechanically is not playing well right now. What is this? Like, he should have been oversaturating the natural and the main a little bit as well then. Like 20 out of 16 still gets some benefit. Yeah, now he's gonna finally he's gonna send over. No wait, he just finished the gases, I guess. This is not a good look. This really was not a good look. Adding in 2 more bases here at the same time. 4 more overlords. Not really in a supply block, but wants to stop that at any cost possible. And despite Creator actually dealing almost no damage this game, the game is pretty fine for him. I always find it so funny to watch the Protoss players while this type of stuff happens. So for Creator right now, there is no reason for him to believe that he is ahead. Creator's mind, he's actually behind. He built 3 oracles, and all he did was kill a single drone with those 3 oracles. The initial 4 worker kills were with the 2 adepts. So that's a serious investment in units that hasn't paid off. Like a really serious investment in units that hasn't paid off. And he's done nothing. He now is trying to be on the map. It's like, well, where are all the units? Like, where's the links? I was going to see 40 links. But this is not a crazy high amount of links, you know? This is just this is a kind of okay amount of links. And it must be kind of weird as creator sitting here being like, hey, I feel like I should not have been capable of doing anything. Yet here I am, actually somewhat trading against these units. Why are there so little Zerglings? It makes no sense. And the reason is because Dark has just been messing up his stuff. He's been getting supply blocked. He's been oversaturating bases. He misses a lot of minerals in this game, Dark. He's been missing a lot of minerals in this game. He's also floating quite a bit. By the way, he's adding in a 6th base already. No inject in the main base. Inject just now went down in the natural. The queens are moving everywhere. 10 overlords? I mean, he's not going to be supply block for the rest of the game and also into the next game because that's way too many overlords. You don't need that many. Could have just been 5 overlords and I'm pretty sure you'd be hitting max already. They're about to finish up now, yeah. He's going to have plenty of OVs. Oracles popping in. Just want to get some revelation or stasis wards. Indeed what they're going for. Dark. Is he in time? Does not respond. Prism also was flying near the 6th base, so that's a good reason as to why he didn't respond. Dark still on lair attack. No hive. Pure Baneling Ling. Do we have any roaches? Yeah, we have 14 roaches. Couple of Ravagers in there as well. Dark is all-inning off of 73 drones. And is gonna hit at a timing where I'm pretty sure you can hit that timing if you go up to like 100 drones. Like, and go for Hive at the same time. This timing is weak. It's late. It's not efficient. He doesn't even have Baneling speed yet. So this is going to get cleaned up. And seeing the Banelings here is actually kind of a big deal. I'd be very happy to see this right now if I am creator. I'm like, oh, Banelings? That's neat. That's really neat for me, actually. Now the infestation pit goes down. It feels like the Dark really believed that he could kill his opponent here. Dark looked at this game and thought to himself, I can kill my opponent. I'm not going to get an infestation pit going to Hive. He completely misjudges the situation. This has been some truly, honestly, kind of atrocious play out of Dark in this game. Like, just... The mechanical stuff I can kind of, you know, I can gloss over. This happens with Dark. But the decision-making here has been subpar at best. He's still only at 70. Like, he is all-inning right now. He is all-inning, and I bet it's the creator that's going to attack. That is how dire the situation is. This is a defensive all-in out of Dark. Like, Dark needs to fight in the next half a minute, honestly. And if that's going to be in a defensive position for creator, I think it will be close to impossible here for Dark to actually break this. Here he comes in. Can we get some force fields? We're not really getting force fields yet. Now we get a couple. Not the greatest ones. Creator's going to continue kiting back with 4 Colossus. That's, of course, an easy task. Oracle's also active. Stalkers weren't even in the fight here. Prism's trying to come back home. It's going to pick up some major units as... This looked relatively bad here for Creator as he was being pushed back and he lost the 5th base, but the 5th base is not so important. A lot of Banes went down, and take a look at the gas count overall here. There is 200 gas in the bank right now for Dark. That means that he cannot he simply cannot reproduce these Banelings. He doesn't have a Hive yet, so he needs to max out on another Baneling army, but doesn't have the gas for it, doesn't have adrenal glands. He really has nothing. I'm surprised to see Creator this committed as well at the same time, not starting +3 quite yet. I guess he does have a lot of units, and he feels very confident here. Pushing forward with just the Blink Stalkers onto creep, I think is going to be a phenomenal call if that is what he wants to do. Take out as many tumors as possible, and then slowly but surely start moving forward. I think that's going to be exactly how you want to be doing that. So just kind of a slow push in here. And yes, Dark is going to get more and more Banelings, but this army of Creator, maxed out, should definitely be capable of fighting this. I'd be shocked if he can't. Stalkers in many different directions here. So you're going to have some minor trades as well at the same time. Overall, resources lost heavily in favor of Creator. Pretty much as expected, by the way. I don't think anyone looks at this like, oh, that's weird. That's the opposite of what I thought was going to happen. It's like, no, it's exactly what you think was going to happen when you see these armies clash. Baneling count right now at 23. This is lower than in the previous fight, but this position is also much worse here for Creator. Creator gets caught out of position. Oracle's now coming in. Zealot Arc on flank as well. Colossus do not get connected with. As the Banelings die, Roach is now under the Colossus. That means that all of them will end up falling. Oracle's pushing out a lot of damage, but this fight was really freaking bad for Creator. Is it going to be enough? I am not so sure. He has 20 Stalkers remaining. There are a lot of Lings on the way. There's a bunch of cash in the bank for Dark. If he can spend that cash, maybe Dark can just win the fight and go into a longer macro game. So Creator's going to continue pushing, has a Zealot Warp in here as well. You get a Drone Ling Roach around. Now this is the time for Dark to move back, and that's exactly what he does. He's going to probably need a couple of Banelings here, 5 to 6, in order to deal with any type of incoming Zealot Warp-ins. Yeah, and instantly starts those 8 Banelings here. Once the Adrenal Glands finishes up, that's going to be huge as well. Drones aren't here anymore. They've been rerouted towards a different base, as we're now heading into... This is kind of a fake... Well, I don't even really want to call it a late game. It's not even a fake late game. I guess we're just kind of staying in the mid game here when it comes to Dark. He's now trying to get an Ultra Cavern out. That seems silly almost with the lack of creep and the lack of funds that he has. 1 or 2 Ultras are not going to cut it because the Stalker count is simply too high. There's 2 Immortals out already as well. Like, there's going to, in order to fight this army, you're going to need like 6, 7 Ultras, and I don't think he has the money for it. I almost would like to see some Infestors here. Like 1 or 2 Infestors, hope for a lucky Fungal, and then maybe with some Piles and a good surround, some Banelings can hit. There might be some potential there. As Adrenal Glands is finished off, it means that Lynx could be sent back to deal with this. So far, that's the opposite of what Dark's doing. Dark's going to try to catch this Stalker army. It's going to push it back, but at the same time, it's going to lose a lot of units in the main base. Quite a bit of droning. If he loses the pool, that would suck. If he loses these Evo chambers, that would obviously suck. Storm is now about to... well, it's about to finish. Well, it's not really about to finish. It just started. And Nydus is about to finish. Storm is a pretty short upgrade. Let's face it. Pool's going to get targeted down. Viper starts as well here. Dark not quite done yet with these Stalkers, and these Stalkers not quite done yet with the Lynx. That might have been a mistake. Colossus count is looking good. Templar count growing to 4. Once you have 4 Templar with Storm, by the way, and you have an Immortal count that matches the Ultra count, I mean, that's just game. That's just absolutely game, because Storm eats Lynx and Banes. It eats Lynx and Banes. There's nothing you can do about that. You can split, you can micro, but the Storm is going to eat the Link Bane. Absolutely. Prism still alive as well. Could be useful later on for another little attack, as we have these Zealots being dropped over here. The outside of the, I think this was the 5th or the 4th or the 6th, whatever base it is. Dark 81 workers. It's about to max out. It's getting 2 more Ultras right now. Let's take a look at the army. 4 Immortals, 3 Colossus, 4 Templar with Storm, 3 Archons. I think that Dark needs something more. I actually think the only thing he really can do is go for a base trade. If there's one thing that Dark is very good at, is forcing base trades. Let's see if he's going to be capable of this as well. He's either going to need a lot of Banelings, and I'm talking about 50, 60 Banelings with this Ultra army, or he's, I don't think he can win otherwise. Good split out of Creator, by the way. Love that. Love that for him. Really do. Needs to be careful now that he doesn't get surrounded here, but at the same time, these Storms are just keeping him alive. As the first Ultra gets targeted down. Second Ultra, no target fire on quite yet. Viper comes in with a Parasitic Bomb on the Colossus. Always seems like a silly spell to cast on Colossus, but it is happening. As I think this army by itself is going to be big enough, but we still have the secondary army as well that's now going to come in. We have the reinforcements here as well that are ready to send. And I just believe that this is pretty much going to be it. Zealot's still active on the far right side as well. Creator, now the supplies are in his favor and his army is significantly better. Colossus is going to get killed by the Queen. The Ravagers probably want to come in with a flank to side against it once they realize how much there really is. Don't really want to fight a creep. GG is going to get called as Creator takes out Dark. And this is one of these rare victories that we see of Creator over Dark. I can't honestly recall the last time I saw that. Big kudos to him. Well played. Fun styles as always with Creator. And just honestly pretty solid play. This last game, I think we can credit Dark a lot with the loss as well. It's not all Creator, but he really did play it out. And that's often the difficult part against Dark. It's not so much getting in good spots. Almost anyone can get a good spot against Dark. But finishing that position is extremely difficult. And Creator managed to do it here today in 2 out of the 3 games. And that's going to be enough for him. It's also going to be enough for me. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you did enjoy this. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Thanks for watching. And bye-bye.